Good morning, everyone. Saturday night we will celebrate the holiday of Purim. Now usually the day of Purim is preceded by a fast day, the fast of Esther, but because Shabbat we're not allowed to fast, and neither are we allowed to fast on Friday, we will fast on Thursday of this week. Now there's something fascinating that the Talmud tells us. Our rabbis tell us that the two most sacred days on the Jewish calendar are Yom Kippur and Purim. And our rabbis tell us that which of the two is greater. So our rabbis say that Yom HaKippurim, that Yom Kippur is like Purim. In other words, there is an association between the holiday of Purim and the holiday of Yom Kippur. They're one like another. Yom HaKippurim, the day of Yom Kippur, is like Purim. And the question is, what similarity can there possibly be between these 2 days? They are extreme opposites. On the one hand, Yom Kippur, we fast for 25 hours, we don't eat and we don't drink. Purim is the holiday that we're commanded to feast and rejoice and eat and drink. Yom Kippur is a solemn day of reflection, of atonement. Yom Kippur is a day of asking for forgiveness, soul searching. We negate the bodily needs and desires. On the other hand, Purim is a day of tremendous joy and celebration. And how could the rabbis tell us that one is connected to the other? And one of the many answers given to this question is that when we go to shul on Yom Kippur, we don't necessarily want to fast. We're not necessarily desirous of fasting. But yet we fulfill the mitzvah even if we don't want to fast. Even if it's difficult, we still fast. And we perform the mitzvah and we are forgiven for our sins as long as we've actually fast. And therefore our rabbis are connecting Purim to Yom Kippur and saying, just like on Yom Kippur, you must fast even if you don't desire to fast. Most people don't want to fast, but you do it anyways. And you fulfill the obligation even if it's not something you are desiring to do, but you're doing it because it's a commandment. So too, Yom HaKippurim, Yom Kippur is like Purim. That sometimes we're not in the mood of being happy. We're not in the mood of rejoicing. We're not feeling it, just like we're not feeling the desire to fast, but we fast anyways. So too, even if we're not craving joy and feeling joy, we still act joyously, just like we fast on Yom Kippur. And I think this interpretation is so relevant for this year, because many of us are feeling, how can we be joyous on a day like this year, when we're in the middle of a war, and there's so much pain and suffering in Israel, and there are still over 100 hostages in captivity. How can we rejoice? And perhaps the message this year is, remember that Purim is like Yom Kippur. Even if you're not in the mood of rejoicing, we rejoice anyways, because that's the mitzvah. And when we do it because it's a mitzvah, that joy has tremendous power to break through all boundaries. And as the verse says, Ki v'simchat tzeitzehu, with joy you will go out, which our rabbis interpret to mean that we go out of all limitations, all boundaries, through joy. And I think our soldiers have shown us this example. There's been many, many videos of soldiers singing and dancing on army bases in the midst of the war. And they're not doing it necessarily because they're so happy. They're doing it as a song of defiance. Am Yisrael Chai, proclaiming that our joy and our faith in God will transcend all of our obstacles and challenges, and this will give us the strength to overcome our enemies. And that's why it's not a contradiction to say that Yom Kippur is like Purim. Yesterday, tragically, the IDF released a statement that one of the victims that was taken hostage on October 7th, Daniel Perez, was confirmed as having been killed by Hamas. And we've all been praying for Daniel, and his family have been praying for his safe return. And his parents, Rabbi Doron Perez and Shelley, are leaders in Israel, very renowned rabbi. He's the head of the Mizrahi or Zionist organization. But something fascinating that happened was that Daniel has a brother, Yonatan, who was scheduled to get married 2 weeks after October 7th. And the family chose to go ahead with the wedding. And Yonatan went to the chuppah with his bride as his brother Daniel was still in captivity. And imagine, they stood under the chuppah and praying and crying for Daniel, who was in captivity. And then after the chuppah, they began the song and the dance and the rejoicing. And their song and rejoicing was with a heavy heart, but it was a song of defiance and victory that we will ultimately achieve. That's the mindset that we all have to enter into the holiday of Purim with this year. Have a wonderful day.